Hello everyone and welcome to Say Yes to Life series. Say Yes to Life is an initiative introduced with the aim to offer hope to every person suffering from a mental illness through awareness building and reducing the stigma of talking about mental health. The series will feature India's foremost psychiatrists sharing their perspective on the forces that shape the mental health narrative. And I am absolutely delighted to welcome our featured speaker for the second session of the series, Dr. Rajesh Nagpal, a senior psychiatrist from Delhi. Dr. Nagpal, of course, needs no introduction, being actively involved in teaching medical students and training junior medical staff in the art of psychiatry. Dr. Nagpal is a trustee of the prominent NGO Deva Foundation and has launched an all-women rehabilitation home called Anvita that takes care of the dispossessed, often mentally ill and mentally challenged women. He has also established the Manobal Clinic 30 years ago and is currently the chair of section on developing nations in the World Psychiatric Association. So that's a lot of work through all these years, and you still look as young as ever. So they must be very, very hectic 30 years of your career so far.
Lovely 30 years of my life. It is saying yes to life itself, enjoying every moment of it.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful, Doctor. Once again, welcome welcome
you,
to our show. And Doc, of course, you know, there's so much that we can talk about, but I have a very pointed question to start with, and that surrounds the stigma around mental health, which I am told is a global phenomenon and global scourge, in fact, that, you know, this is not just in certain sections, but across the world, there's a certain stigma that is connected with mental health. And how would you like to express your views on this, being in this field for so many years now?
Stigma comes from the Greek, from the German word stick. So it is a dag. So the stick, it is a pointed stick which you can put at somebody. So it's a branding. So you brand somebody with mental illness, and that's stigma. So if I call a person having a mental illness as a psycho or a crazy person, I am stigmatizing him, because I am trying to add up the illness to the person. The person is separate, the illness is separate. Right. So that's stigma.
Very often there is a fear of being stigmatized even without someone doing that to you. I mean, somewhere the person himself somehow assumes that if someone finds out that I am having a mental issue, they might do this. So, pehle se hi dar jate hain.
The stigma is of three types basically. So one of them is the public stigma, second is a self stigma, and third is a structural stigma. Public stigma is what we perceive in the public, people to have mental illness and how we perceive them. Self stigma is what you talk about, ki agar mujhe bimari ho gayi, and somebody comes to know what will happen. Right. And structural stigma is the institutions themselves support stigma. For example, if I am mentally ill, I cannot vote sometimes in some cases, or I can't stand for election. So these are structural stigma. That means in the systems itself there are policies which are built up to keep mentally people away. So about say 60 years ago, people were kept in asylums. They were kept outside their homes for long periods of time. That is a structural stigma.
True, of course. Do we still have these asylums?
Yes, in parts, all over the world in parts. Okay. About 5% of people were always required to be in a custodial home because the illnesses are very severe. Right. But today there is a big movement towards de-institutionalization. People have come to general hospital psychiatry, they come to medical colleges, they come to clinics, and they come to regular hospitals and services are being offered there.
I think earlier also we would have a separate wing for psychiatric treatment, but now it's become much more.
So general hospital psychiatry in the Indian context started about 40 years ago. Okay. It was led by PGI Chandigarh as one of the foremost movements happening in actually India. And a lot of medical colleges had departments of psychiatry which were almost on the same floor as the medical departments, and now things have become totally destigmatized at the medical college level, at least as far as this is concerned. That change has happened.
So you've been, seeing your, I don't know whether we can call them patients, of course, but
of course,
your patients for so many years now. Do you see a change in the mindset? Do you see that now people are coming out in the open and are much more comfortable about being able to cope with their mental illnesses rather than how it was earlier? Or are they still very, that self-stigma is still very much prevalent?
India is a very biodiverse population, and we have many kinds of cities, many kind of urban and rural establishments and places. So there is no one size fit all answer to this.
That's
But in general, yes, the answer is yes to your statement that people are coming out much more openly about it, talking much more about it, and thanks to media, thanks to a lot of public initiatives happening, like this one, sure it will happen more and more. People will get less. They become much more open to the idea of talking about the mental illness.
And you also have people confronting this situation and coming to you from all stratas, or do you find only certain section of society who are willing to accept and willing to is it a very expensive sort of a I can't call it a treatment, but
that's a very good question, a very large question. Mental illness affects all strata equally,
right,
with some exceptions, even men and women equally, including the LGBTQ community equally.
right,
No, there are no exceptions there. The divide has no meaning as far as mental illness is concerned. The ability to pay has a meaning. In the Indian context, in the current context today, only 5% of Indians can afford to have it paid by insurance companies. It's all paid out of private pocket in the private health space. In the public health space, it is sponsored by the state governments or the central governments. 70% of the care delivery occurs in the private sector. So we can safely say that a good majority of people are paying out of the private pockets for any mental health care.
When you have a physical ailment, then money no bar, everyone is willing to spend on that. But on something like this, maybe family or your spouse or boss, यार इस पे कहाँ खर्चा कर रहा है? मेरे पास मैं तुझे or friends will say, what I can.
Absolutely.
I get this very often, that why you going to a psychiatrist? We can sort you out. Why are you spending your money there and things like that? And people try to not want to, do this not just for the stigma, but also feel that we can handle this. So
you have intuitively come to a very important aspect of seeking help.
Right.
Those of us who have jobs to perform,
Right.
who are responsible in society for getting the moolah home or performing important services at home, for example, a good homemaker,
Right.
when they fall mentally ill, well, help is available.
Right.
But if I am anyway not doing too well in life and I don't have much a role to play in the family,
True.
I am continued to actually wallow with my own depression, and there will be other pathies which will come up which will help treat my depression or my illness, which can be
you
in a
could take
psychosis.
to some habits, or you take
Absolutely,
to something.
substance abuse, alcohol. So a lot of it gets converted there because we're not bothered by that person because he or she has no contribution to play in society. That's the unfortunate aspect. That is correct. Absolutely correct. You're on the dot there.
And there could be so many such who are just going untreated and so that is also something that we should look out for, watch out for. It could be among our friends, it could be a relative, and we just think, "Arey yaar, he's a no-gooder," or she's just wasting her life. Abhi kya bole usko, kya samjhaye? But it's important to also.
We have managed to bowl actually a googly here. The reason is very simple, that, and this is coming from studies done all over the world and India also. If we are actually able to raise the awareness of mental illness, we do not have mental professionals to handle the pandemic.
There are that many will come out of.
See, if you
When you call it a pandemic now, I'm really, really scared.
Yeah, I call it pandemic because you might define mental illness in a very simplistic sense that since you are an artist, and so I'll use an analogy of singing music. So the orchestra of our thoughts, our emotions and our behavior, this orchestra becomes noise. Instead of music, it becomes noise. When it becomes noise and it starts interfering with our personal life and starts interfering with our ability to work, that becomes a mental illness. That is a legally accepted definition of mental illness in a very simplistic sense.
But
one in seven people have mental illness by this definition. When the orchestra becomes noise, 1 in 7 have mental illness. And we have just 5,000 psychiatrists in the whole country to cater to this huge number. Hence, it's a pandemic, and increasing awareness without having solutions could be a Don Quixote solution to the problem.
My God. No, I mean, not just because I'm musically inclined, but I think it's a beautiful definition a beautiful way to explain what's going on. A lot of people also say it's like you're in a cloud. You're emotionally numb. You don't know what is.
It's a
going
term which
on?
came up after the COVID. We call it brain fog.
Brain fog.
So brain fog is basically a person is slightly confused, is zoned out,
right.
and is in his own world. Yes, one of the kind of illnesses can have that phenomena. It's not a jugular phenomenon. Most people mental illness could be as normal as you and me. In a
Right.
particular field, they might have a problem, but they're not completely crazy. And these terms
So
are
if
today.
it's as common as that, then that's quite a strange thing that it's still a stigma and people are still, you know, if today I am pointing at someone, tomorrow it could be me who's going through this because it you know, the trigger may be very, very minimal, but the spiral, of course, like you said, can lead to a very severe situation if you don't address it. And this thing of trying to hide away, trying to keep it under the sheets, not letting anyone know, or looking at it as something किसी को पता ना चले कि, you know, I go to the psychiatrist. Does that happen also, that people want to, you know, exit from a hidden door, don't want
Yes.
anyone to know? Doc,
So
can you please?
That is the self stigma.
Right.
So self stigma is where I feel that if somebody comes to know I'm mentally ill, he or she may discard me. Early in a marriage, if I have a mental illness, my husband might choose to discard me.
Right.
If I am a young child with a bright career and falling in marks, my peers might choose to discard me. So I try to hide the illness.
Hide
I
the
try to
illness,
stay at
yeah.
home. I try to avoid going to school, etc. So yes, that's a very common phenomenon. That again comes from self stigma, one of the important components of stigma.
And that's just delaying the process of getting better, delaying the process
Not
of
delaying.
recovering.
In fact, it is causing great deal of harm.
Okay.
The reason is very simple, that one can imagine that the major mental illnesses, for example, schizophrenia, just as a
Right.
case example, schizophrenia or insanity as it was called in the past,
Right.
the major damage happens between the age of 14 years and say 26 years, 30
Oh
years.
my God.
The brain is already damaged when the person has come to us. The more interesting phenomena is that in the Indian context, the duration of untreated psychosis or untreated mental illness is about close to 90 weeks.
Oh my God.
So
90
between a
weeks is
person developing a
what,
mental
that's
illness,
almost 2
yes,
years.
a little less than 2
Less
years,
than 2
56 weeks is 1 year.
Right.
So a person developing major mental illness and taking treatment, 90 weeks is the gap. That's called duration of untreated psychosis, DUP. So that is the problem we are facing in Indian context. That even if you have an illness, the ability to take treatment, accessibility, availability and affordability are big question marks when insurance cover is not available for the majority rural populace and the urban populace.
Oh my God.
Even the Ayushman Bharat will not cover all aspects of mental illness.
Okay. Okay.
So for
But
the
they
poor
should.
person, there's not much help available.
Yeah, because if someone who's, you know, if someone's cut a finger and you just let it fester for almost 2 years, it's going to turn into, yeah.
Brain damage occurs.
And here you have this situation and you're doing nothing about it, and so wonderful, doctor, so much to learn from you, and the fact that you're training so many young psychiatrists, and you know, like you mentioned, the numbers are so low at the moment, but hopefully with your
Yes.
training and you know all the wonderful social work that you're doing. Doctor, quickly something about Deva, the foundation.
So Deva Foundation is started from Varanasi, and what we are working with are children from the age of 18 years to ladies 60 years. They have three qualities and they come from Nari Niketans from the state of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar.
Okay.
They are, most of them are mentally challenged or have intellectual low ability, what is called as Mand Buddhi in the past.
Right.
They also are severely mentally ill, and most of them have been outcast from their homes.
Oh my God.
So they are either sexually trafficked, or they are ugly to look at and the family has thrown them out, or they are on the streets basically, and these will come to us. And to our utter surprise, when we begin rendering them tender loving care, which basically involves giving them new clothes to wear, nice chappals
Just
to wear,
giving them
they have
some
never had
empathy,
the experience.
some compassion.
A new pair of chappal is an exciting experience for them.
My God.
Wearing new clothes is something they not experienced for a very long time in their life. When we send them back to their homes, some of them we are able to send back to their homes, the family is very, very ashamed of what they have done to the child.
But they should be, and yeah. But thank God there is, you know, there are NGOs like that
Thank
to
you.
take care of them and then get them back into society and give them, more importantly, a certain self and you know, certain self-confidence
Thank you.
that they can face the world with confident personalities. And all the great work you're doing, Dr. Nagpal. Congratulations on that, and more power to you. And today we did discuss something that was very, very, very crucial, very important, because acceptance and shame, these words are very prevalent. कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, ये क्या होगा, वो क्या होगा. But the damage that you're causing yourself because of these little hurdles is much, much more than.
Absolutely.
You know, everyone's busy in their own lives. We just get, you know, worried about what they might think of us. And for those who don't think of anyone going through a mental illness is also, you know, very much human and very much normal.
Absolutely.
I think they should check their own mental constitution, because that's the wrong way to look at the world and look at people. So we have to look at people with more compassion. We have to look at people with more empathy, and we have to know that 1 out of 7, which is a very, very, very big number, it could be you, it could be me. So let's make this world a more beautiful world, a more inclusive world, and fight mental health, and, you know, try to be as depression free as we can, keep the stress easy. And again, like you said, Doc, there's no stigma to it, there's nothing to hide about it, there's nothing to feel ashamed of. And what is important is to take the right steps at the right time, and come out of it unscathed, come out of it a better person. You know, what I've noticed is that once you go through therapy, once you read those books, you gain the kind of knowledge that you didn't have earlier about life in general, and
That empowers you.
It empowers you to much more than how you were before, you know, you got into the
Awareness always
situation.
empowers us.
That is true, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think each one who's a survivor, becomes, you know, a sort of a, in a way, at least a first aid kit for someone before professional help arrives. And like you said, we need more psychiatrists now as this is increasing.
Yeah, but there is a small, you know, correctdenum here, that the World Psychiatric Association in 1990s began a campaign called Open the Door campaign. It was a global campaign involving India also, and about 8 other countries, including the UK, US. And what they discovered importantly was that a campaign which you are running right now, like Yes to Life, unless it is sustained, unless it carries on for years and years, it will cease to have any meaning in removing stigma. So whatever campaigns we begin in mental health, and thanks to you beginning a new campaign today, we need to make sure that it is well funded so that it continues for years together. That is what the science is telling us very clearly.
Well, I think it makes sense, you know, every message has to be reiterated. You can't just say it once and
Over
expect
several
that.
years, sir.
True.
Over several years. And sometimes it can work the opposite fashion. They had a very interesting experiment in actually Egypt. For the Bedouins or the nomadic tribes, they taught them about mental illness. And when they were told of mental illness, they were described how people can hear voices or see different things or see weird stuff and or go crazy, quote unquote. The Bedouins began identifying them and avoiding them altogether. So instead of rendering help, they got ostracized. These people.
My God.
So sometimes it can work opposite. So, you know, we have to bring a culture specific issue to the area of mental illness. So who you are educating, what educating is also very, very important.
True.
A one size fit all will not work for everybody.
True. No, makes sense, of course.
Somebody is drug crazed, somebody is on cannabis, and he says it is you know, yes to life, makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just temporary.
Absolutely.
High that the person is
So
on.
right population, right message for the right person is, I think, very important. So when we run campaigns like this, it is important for us to be cognizant of this important fact.
No, of course.
That who we are offering information to and what we are offering information, and who is the population which is being targeted. So a lot of great effort from your side also will be required for this.
No,
to make
I'm
it
learning
successful.
so much myself, and, you know, I'm carrying this with me wherever I go, whoever I speak with, you know, in the coming days, and hopefully all the people watching our show will take so much to share with others, and that's very important, that, you know, we're all aware of this pandemic, like you said, and we have to control it while we can and as much as we can. And Doctor, once again, thank you so much for being a part of our show, and Say Yes to Life really starts with you. You are really the personification to that, with all the social work that also you're doing side by side. And my best wishes to you. And वैसे तो it's a club song, but it makes sense in this context also कि कोई कहे कहता रहे कितना भी हमको दीवाना हम लोगों के ठोकर में है ये जमाना.
बहुत खूब.
बिल्कुल. तो दोस्तों
मैं भी आपको एक कहानी एक छोटा सा सुना देता हूँ.
जी जी जी.
This is from the Guru Granth Sahib.
Wow.
It's about dealing with angst, depression, something which you have personally gone through in your own family. So in the Guru Granth Sahib there is a special piece there which says कि अपने गम की निमाइश न कर, अपने मुकद्दर की आजमाइश न कर, जो तेरा है तेरे पास खुद आएगा, उसको पाने की ख्वाहिश न कर।
क्या बात।
दिन खुद ब खुद बदल जाएंगे ये मेरे भाई, सिर्फ मुस्कुरा ले और मुस्कुराने के पीछे की वजह की तलाश न कर।
क्या बात।
So keep smiling, saying yes to life, and hey presto, the world might have changed.
Will change around. Yeah, I very often if I'm having a low moment, I force a smile. Basically, it doesn't seem like I need to force a smile. I'm smiling all the time. A lot of people say कि यार there are lots of jokes around that also. ये तो हंसते रहता है किसी के you know
मातम हो तो भी
उसमें
हंसता
मातम पे भी हंस देगा, पता नहीं क्या करने वाला है. But yeah, a smile is a great reliever, and it just you know fills your heart with so much joy that it just makes every burden much lighter. और जो आपका शुरू का लाइन अपने गम की नुमाइश न कर, ये भी बहुत सही बात है. कई बार हम लोग वी ड्वेल इन दैट सैडनेस, वी लाइक टू थ्राइव इन दैट, वी लाइक टू टेल पीपल यार मैं बहुत, एंड उस चक्कर में यू आर एक्चुअली कॉलिंग फॉर इट. यंगस्टर्स आजकल देखता हूँ कि बस दुखी गाने सुनते जाते हैं और उनको बहुत पसंद आता है. तो ये क्या चक्कर है यार? बोलते मेरी तो गर्लफ्रेंड नहीं है लेकिन फिर भी मुझे ब्रेकअप के गाने सुनने में बहुत मजा आता है. सो एनीवे, सो आई थिंक वी शुड कीप smiling and stay positive.
That's the
thank you,
message.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
तन्हा दिल तन्हा सफर ढूंढे मुझे